Hey guys, it's me, Eric here. I'm going to be discussing today, as my first video, a topic that has been on my mind for a very long time. And that's the topic as to whether or not Starkiller in The Force Awakens, The Force Unleashed 2 is a clone. Personally, I don't think he is. I think he actually is the original Starkiller, and I'm going to give you my reasons for thinking that here in this video. Pretty much what it basically comes down to is that in the first game, in the first Force Unleashed game, Vader stabs Starkiller through the torso, shoots him out into space, brings him back, and revives him. So if he could survive that, then there's really no reason to think that he would be dead when the giant force explosion at the end of the game. Other than the fact that it's said that he's a clone. You know, the primary reason I do not think he's a clone is that Rom Koda and Vader both very, very strongly implied that you cannot clone a Jedi without the cloning process becoming very unstable and the clones going insane after a very, very short period of time. And if you notice in the game, all the other clones of Starkiller, save the one you're playing as, do actually end up going insane. They become like raving madmen, pretty much. And your character Starkiller does not have those kinds of issues because I don't think he's a clone. I think he is the original Starkiller. Now I know that there's that one cutscene or that whatever where Vader shows your character the original Starkiller floating around in like a bacta tank or whatever. I think that was probably a clone too. That was probably a fucking clone too, and it was probably all done just to sell the deception. The reason this worked so well for Vader is that Starkiller was indeed in a giant force explosion. It might not have cost him his life, but it definitely did some damage to his memory, if nothing else. So Vader could pretty much tell Starkiller anything he wanted, and Starkiller would believe it, including that he was a clone of the original Starkiller. That's the primary reason I don't think the Starkiller is a clone. Even at the end of the game, when Starkiller has captured Vader, even at the end of that game, he pretty much says, maybe Koda was right. Maybe this is all just a giant scheme to make me so confused that I forget who I really am, or something along those lines. Pretty much implying that he is actually the original Starkiller. And a lot of people, come up to me whenever I say this. They say, "Oh well, Eric, his sacrifice though. What about his sacrifice? If he's dead, then his sacrifice doesn't mean anything." To which I say, well, that's not necessarily true. Just because you don't actually die during a sacrifice doesn't mean that your sacrifice is any less valuable. The rebels were still able to escape the Death Star and form up the Rebel Alliance. Even if Starkiller didn't die, they were still able to do that. Whether he's dead or alive has no effect on whether or not the rebels were able to start the Rebel Alliance and escape from the Death Star. That was still possible. They were still inspired by his sacrifice, even if he was not dead. So it really doesn't matter, to be honest. Now you might be asking why am I making this video? Well, first of all, this question, like I said, has been on my mind for a very long time, and I kind of wanted to just throw in my 2 cents here in this video. Also, however, with the new episode of Star Wars Rebels, there are actually a lot of parallels to The Force Unleashed in that episode. And I am going to make a video probably later today, maybe tomorrow, where I discuss some of those crossovers, and this will be a major plot point in that. So I do not think that Starkiller is a clone. I don't think he died on the Death Star, and I don't think your character in The Force Unleashed 2 is actually a clone. I think it actually is Starkiller, and that Vader lied to him in order to make it so he could control Starkiller again, by making him think he was just a clone. That's what I think. If you like what you saw, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. If you disagree with me, feel free to let me know down in the comment section. If you do agree with me, great, then let me know in the comment section. Especially if you agree with me for different reasons. Maybe you have other reasons why you think the Starkiller was actually the original Starkiller in The Force Unleashed 2. If you do have any input to give whatsoever, please feel free to write it down in the comments down below. I only ask that you be mature, okay? This is not supposed to start any kind of major fights or wars or anything. This is Star Wars. It's supposed to entertain us. It's supposed to be fun. And if you can't be mature and handle that, then I'm sorry, but this channel's just not going to be for you. You know, we're supposed to be mature on this channel. We're supposed to have fun and discuss things that interest us. So just keep the conversation civil. That's really all I ask. Other than that, feel free to say whatever the fuck you want. Alright. I'm gonna get going, guys. I actually do have a pizza coming, and I do not want to be recording when the pizza guy gets here. So I will see you all either later tonight or tomorrow. Bye.